Captain's blog, Stardate 08012024.7. Drifting through the dark expanse of space, I find myself thinking about the nature of reality. There is the tangible world that we are physically able to observe, and the abstract dimensions that shape our understanding of existence. If abstract concepts like numbers and geometric figures can hold true without physical form, what does this say about the hidden underpinnings of our universe? Consider the number 12. Determining if it's a prime number doesn't rely on observation or experimentation because numbers are abstract concepts. The fact that the number 12 isn't prime is not contingent on physical reality. You can only try to represent it symbolically. Someone might argue that you can solve the above with formulas, thus bringing it back down to something that is abstract but solvable. However, let's consider thoughts, feelings, and perceptions as something that is abstract but not solvable. Each of us has an idea of the perfect day, even if the same hormones, brain areas used, and other bodily measurements were identical or very similar. Two people could have very different ideas of what constitutes a perfect day. As such, abstract subjectivity can't be represented physically, yet is very real to the person experiencing it. This isn't new, but I'm building to a bigger point. Two people can watch the same exact show and come away with two different interpretations and feelings about the experience. As such, depending on the lens, God, gods, angels, demons, magic, ghost, karma, or whatever can exist. Now you may say, well, you could objectively show that X isn't real, but X is an abstract concept. You can't empirically disprove something that is a subjective experience. Science doesn't have the tools to perfectly repeat a moment of reality or the ability to predict it with absolute precision. For some things, it may be impossible to see unless you view it from a very specific perspective during the moment it occurred. Too often, a shared subjective belief within a group will foster a tribal mentality. Some groups then attempt to impose their perspectives on others while actively suppressing alternative lenses, as seen done by some religions and politics. A group of small elites exploit this dynamic for personal gain. Disillusionment with anything related to that mentality happens, and then some choose to block themselves from other possibilities aside from the objective. I think what happens a lot of times with my science bitches, and I say that affectionately, is that they become fixated on only considering physical reality. My spiritual bitches have a tendency to go outside of their line and try to explain how things work empirically in objective reality using a subjective lens. I'm guilty of that sometimes. However, I think trying to see through the various abstract and objective lenses leads to a rather profound, complex, and multi-layered reality. Still, don't fall for the trap of thinking you could fully perceive the fullness of reality. There are people that spend a lifetime just trying to understand one small niche within a subject, and they still have things to learn. For myself, I've tried working on being open-minded enough to know that there's always something to be learned from someone else, even if that's just how not to be. The harder part is being humble enough to know that I can be mistaken or not know something. Given the ever-growing amount of knowledge and experiences, all of us are closer to knowing nothing than everything. Upon further consideration of this subject, I just wanted to add one more thing. I think it's important to understand abstract realities that may not correspond with objective reality because these things are still affecting the people around you. You can't dismiss a comprehensive understanding of the various lenses available if you are dismissing a wide swath of individuals, many of which are intelligent individuals that only came to their belief through a variety of experiences and possibly a whole different biology. And even if those beliefs are resulting in harmful behaviors, you aren't going to be able to change their mind if you don't understand their perspective. And thank you for joining me.